We are now on part 5 of Genesis, chapters 37 to 50 of the Messianic Jewish Family Bible Tree of Life version, TLV. And we're moving along here. Chapter 47, Jacob blesses Pharaoh and Joseph's leadership in famine. And then there's going to be Parashat Vayeki, Joseph's promise to Jacob. That's what we're going to be covering in chapter 47. So we're going to start with Jacob blesses Pharaoh. Then Joseph came and informed Pharaoh, my father and my brothers, and their flocks and their cattle and everything that belongs to them have come to the land of Canaan, came from the land of Canaan, and behold, they are in the land of Goshen. So they came from Canaan and they're now in Egypt in the land of Goshen. From among his brothers he took 5 men and presented them before Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to his brothers, what is your occupation? So they said to Pharaoh, your servants are shepherds, both we and our fathers. Then they said to Pharaoh, we came to dwell temporarily in the land since there is no pasture for the flocks that belong to your servants, for the famine is severe in the land of Canaan. So now, please let your servants live in the land of Goshen. Pharaoh said to Joseph, saying, your father and your brothers came to you. The land of Egypt is before you. Settle your father and your brothers in the best part of the land. Let them live in the land of Goshen. If you know of any capable men among them, make them overseers of the livestock over those that are mine. Then Joseph brought his father Jacob and presented him before Pharaoh, and Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked Jacob, how many days are the years of your life? Jacob said to Pharaoh, the days of the years of my sojourn are 130 years. Few and evil have been the days of the years of my life. Moreover, the days of the years of my life have not attained the days of the years of the lives of my fathers in the days of their sojourn. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from Pharaoh's presence. Joseph settled his father and his brothers and gave them property in the land of Egypt, in the best part of the land, in the land of Ramesses, just as Pharaoh commanded. And Joseph supported his father and his brothers and his father's entire household with food for the mouths of the little ones. Joseph's leadership in the famine. Now there was no food in all the land because the famine was very severe. Both the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan languished because of the famine. Joseph collected all the money that could be found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the grain that they had bought, and Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. Then the money of the land of Egypt and of the land of Canaan ran out, and all of Egypt came to Joseph, saying, give us food. Why should we die in front of you because the money is gone? Joseph said, give your livestock, and I'll give it to you for your livestock if the money is gone. So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them food in exchange for horses, for flocks of sheep, for herds of cattle, and for donkeys. He provided them with food in exchange for all of their livestock that year. When that year came to an end, they came to him in the second year and said, we won't hide from my lord that the money has run out, and the livestock and the domestic animals are my lord's. There is nothing left in my lord's sight except our bodies and our land. Why should we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for food. We and our land will become Pharaoh's slaves. Provide seed so that we may live and not die, and the land won't be deserted. So Joseph bought all the land in Egypt for Pharaoh because the Egyptians, each one sold his field for the famine overcame them. Thus the land became Pharaoh's. He made the people slaves from one end of Egypt's border to the other. Only he did not buy the land belonging to the priests, because the priests had an allotment from Pharaoh, and they ate their allotment that Pharaoh gave them. Therefore they did not sell their land. Then Joseph said to the people, behold, I have bought you and your land today for Pharaoh. Here is seed for you so that you can sow the land. During the harvest, you must give a fifth part to Pharaoh, and 4/5 will be for you, for seed for the field, and for your food, and for those in your houses, and for food for your little ones. You're saved. You've saved our lives, they said. You find favor in the eyes of my Lord, and will be for Pharaoh's slaves. So Joseph set it as a statute until this very day concerning the land of Egypt. A fifth part goes to Pharaoh. Only the priest's land did not become Pharaoh's. Meanwhile, Israel settled in the land of Egypt and the land of Goshen, acquired property in it, and were fruitful and multiplied greatly. So now we're coming to another parashat, another Torah teaching, and it's parashat Vayeki, Joseph's promise to Jacob. Now Jacob lived in the land of Egypt for 17 years, so the days of Jacob, the years of his life, were 147 years. As the time of Israel's At the time of Israel's death drew near, he called for his son Joseph and said to him, "If I have found favor in your eyes, please put your hand under my thigh and show me faithful kindness. Please do not bury me in Egypt. When I lie down with my fathers, you must carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burial place." So he said, "I myself will do according to your word." "Swear to me," he said. So he swore to him. Then Israel bowed down in worship on the head of his staff. So here was that promise again, that kind of handshake deal, that Joseph promised to not allow his father to be buried in Egypt. Then chapter 48, we have the blessing of Ephraim and Manasseh. After these things, someone told Joseph, "Behold, your father is sick." So he took his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, with him. When someone told Jacob, "Behold, your son Joseph has come to you," Israel summoned his strength and sat up in the bed. Then Jacob said to Joseph, "El Shaddai appeared to me in Luz, in the land of Canaan, and blessed me. He said to me, 'I am going to make you fruitful and multiply you, and turn you into an assembly of peoples, and I will give you this land to your seed after you as an everlasting possession.' So now your two sons, who were born to you in the land of Egypt before I came to you in Egypt, they are mine. Ephraim and Manasseh will be mine, just like Reuben and Simeon. Any descendant of yours whom your father after them will be yours. They will be identified by the names of their brothers for their inheritance. Now as for me, when I came from Paddan, to my sorrow, Rachel died along the way in the land of Canaan, while we were still at a distance from entering Ephrath, and I buried her there on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. Then Israel saw Joseph's sons and said, "Who are these?" Joseph said to his father, "They're my sons, whom God has given me here." Then he said, "Please bring them to me so I may bless them." Now Israel's eyes had grown heavy with old age. He could not see. So he brought them near to him, and he kissed them and hugged them. Then Israel said to Joseph, "To see your face I didn't expect, and look, God has let me see your offspring as well." Then Joseph took them from his knees and bowed with his face down to the ground. Then Joseph took the two of them, Ephraim with his right hand across from Israel's left, and Manasseh with his left hand across from Israel's right, and brought them close to him. But Israel stretched out his right hand and placed it upon Ephraim's head, though he was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, crossing his hands, though Manasseh was the firstborn. Then he blessed Joseph and said, "The God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the God who has shepherded me throughout my life to this day, the angel who redeemed me from all evil, may he bless the boys, and may he be called by my name, and by my name of and by the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, may they multiply to a multitude in the midst of the land." When Joseph saw that his father placed his right hand upon Ephraim's head, it was wrong in his eyes. So he took hold of his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head to Manasseh's head. Joseph said to his father, "Not like that, my father, because this one's the firstborn. Put your right hand upon his head." But his father refused and said, "I know, my son, I know. He also will become a people, and he also will become great. But his younger brother will become greater than he, and his seed will be the fullness of the nations." Then he blessed them that day, saying, "In you shall Israel bless by saying, 'May God make you like Ephraim and like Manasseh.'" Thus he put Ephraim before Manasseh. Then Israel said to Joseph, "Look, I am about to die. God will be with you and will bring you back to the land of your fathers. Now I myself give you one portion more than your brothers, that which I took from the hand of the Amorites with my sword and my bow." So chapter 49 says Jacob speaks over his sons. Jacob called his sons and said to them, "Gather together so I can tell you what will happen to you in the last days. Be assembled and listen, sons of Jacob, and listen to Israel your father. Reuben, my firstborn are you, my vigor and my firstborn of my power, endowed with extra dignity, endowed with extra strength. Like water boiling over, you will not have extra, for you got up into your father's bed when you defiled a maid's couch. Simeon and Levi are brothers. Instruments of violence are their knives. In their secret council may my soul not enter. In their contingent may my honor never be united. For in their anger they slew men, and in their self-will they maimed oxen. Cursed be their anger, for it was strong, and their rage, for it was cruel. I will disperse them in Jacob, I will scatter them in Israel. Judah, so are you, so you are. I'm sorry. Your brothers will praise you. Your hand will be on the enemy's neck. Your father's sons will bow down to you. A lion's cub is Judah. From the prey, my son, you have gone up. He crouches, lies down like a lion, or like a lioness who would rouse him. The scepter will not pass from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until he to whom it belongs will come. To him will be the obedience of the peoples. Binding his foal to the vine, his donkey's colt to the choice vine, he washes his garments in wine, and in the blood of grapes his robe. His eyes are darker than wine, and teeth that are whiter than milk. So we're talking about Yeshua here too. Yeshua is being foretold in what Jacob is saying to Judah. So think about that. The scepter will not pass from Judah. And Yeshua came. He's a line of the tribe of Judah. So then we talk about Zebulun. Zebulun will dwell by the seashore and be by a harbor for ships. His distant border reaches Sidon. Issachar is a strong-boned donkey lying down between two saddlebags. He saw that a resting place was good and that the land was pleasant. He leaned his shoulder to bear a burden and became a forced laborer. Dan will judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Let Dan be a serpent beside a road, a viper beside a path, who strikes a horse's heels so that its rider falls backward. For your salvation I await Adonai. Gad, attackers will attack him, but he will attack their heels. Asher, rich is his food. He will provide delicacies fit for a king. Naphtali is a doe let loose who offers words of beauty. A fruitful son is Joseph, a fruitful son beside a spring. Daughters walk along a wall. The archers were bitter and shot arrows and were hostile towards him. Yet his bow was always filled, and in his arms quick moving by the hands of the mighty one of Jacob. From there a shepherd, the stone of Israel, from the God of your father who helps you, and Shaddai who blesses you with blessings of heavens above, blessings of the deep that lies below, blessings of breast and womb, the blessings of your fathers surpassed, and the blessings of ancient mountains, the desires of everlasting hills, may they be upon Joseph's head, upon the crown of the one set apart from his brothers. Benjamin is a ravening wolf. In the morning he devours spoils, and in the evening divides plunder. These are the tribes of Israel, 12 in all, and this is what their father spoke to them. He blessed them, each one he blessed with a suitable blessing. Then he charged them and said to them, I am about to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, that is next to Mamre in the land of Canaan, the field that Abraham brought from Ephron the Hittite as a property for burial. There they buried Abraham and his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah, and there I buried Leah. The field was purchased along with the cave in it from the sons of Heth. When Jacob finished commanding his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed, then breathed his last, and was gathered to his people. Now, we know Rachel was also buried in Bethlehem, so she wasn't with him. And the others were all in Canaan, in Machpelah. So I'm going to pause it here and come back with part 6, because there's some Bible verses before I move to the very last chapter. There are some Bible verses that I want to reflect on as we're talking about chapter 49.